And we are back. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on this lovely edition of the Doin Alright podcast here on this lovely Wednesday. We're going to break down the Arizona Cardinals offense here.
Yeah.
Man, Brian, I think it's my responsibility to not just break down the Cardinals, but I have to break them down in context of Cowboys. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think, you can go out there and see something on film and they'll do something that we notice, like a trend that'll last for about 6 weeks or something like that. But, boy, they'll roll out there versus the Cowboys and something totally different happens. So I'm going to add a little flair to my analysis today, Brian. But we'll cross that bridge in a second. Man, Brian, I heard you. I heard you talking to somebody. you wasn't talking to me when you did it.
Yeah,
but you was in there talking. You said something about BB, and I say, man, I could either be nosy and go in there and make Brian tell me now.
Yeah.
I can make Brian tell the people, and we'll all learn at the same time. Brian, you was saying something about BB in there when you was talking, Brian. What was whoever the hell you was talking to, Illuminati member, what was they saying about BB? Maybe why didn't he play last week? Is he going to be ready this week? What's the news on that?
Yeah, all week long we'd been kind of walking you through that the BB was going to do more each day, and everything was positive in that regard. Talking to a couple of different people this morning before our show, it seems that BB was ready to play last week. Coach's decision that they went with Brock Hoffman in that football game. And to me, that's one of those things where I'm looking at him, I'm going, wow. I mean, here, Voch and I tell you all week, find a way to win the inside game. And, you didn't win the inside game last week against the Broncos. They did a really nice job against you. But it wasn't just the center. They had problems at both the left and right guard as well. But I was told that BB was available, coach's decision why he didn't play. Another thing I learned, too, is about Josh Butler. Josh Butler is now available and ready to play. Coach is, again, waiting for him to for them to make an appearance or them to put him in the lineup. So they've got players that are healthy right now, Voch, that maybe you're playing with some guys that you would say, maybe I should see somebody different here. But it's not. It's like coaches' decisions on things. And so now you're wondering, well, wait a minute, how bad does it have to get before they start playing a Winfrey, a Butler, Mingo, somebody like that?
So here's the interesting part, Brian. Let's say, for example, hypothetically, say it was Mingo.
Right.
If they say, well, Voch, what do you think about the coaches not activating Mingo this week?
Right.
Voch and Brian will say something to the effect of, well, CD and Pickens are fantastic.
Right.
Flo is doing his job.
Right.
Tolbert is serviceable when you throw it to him. You got plenty bodies in the wide receiver room. It's not quite an emergency.
Right.
I think the center position has been compromised for a couple weeks now.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
Your cornerback room is horrible. Also, considering that one of your guys that would be starter, got a lot of faith in him, is in a concussion controversy right now.
Right.
Zach, write that down and put that in the title or something if you ain't doing nothing else. He's in a concussion controversy right now. So you would imagine that you need bodies in the cornerback room.
Right.
Going back watching the film, Brian, sometimes I go back on Tuesdays a little bit and just double down to make sure I ain't missed nothing. Weezy didn't have a great day. Bridges.
No.
Bridges didn't have a great day, Brian. So I'm like, man, it's a fantastic time to need some corner help,
right,
if you got them, and center help. So now that you telling me this, I'm just live reacting to it, corner and center. What do you think the coach's thought process is behind that, Brian? What do you think the idea behind the fact that we need guys here, but we just not going to play them? And there's no setback and injury. None of that going on. It's not like you're a new guy that didn't get a camp,
right? Or
you're some guy that, well, maybe you got to get the playbook or something like that. These are guys that have been here,
right,
consuming everything on the offense and defense. So why wouldn't you activate Hoffman and Butler? I mean, BB and Butler. You wouldn't know, but why do you think?
Well, the thing that I just my own personal experience from working with coaches is the fact that the thing with BB, to me, if he was ready to go, were they worried? Coaches get into a mode of like, okay, we've had some success. They look for continuity. They don't want to mess things up. But BB's a starter. In this football game, you needed BB to play. I think you needed his power. I think you needed his ability to get the movement, that you were going to have to do. I think to handle the twist stunts and stuff. Yeah, they've had some problems inside, but to me, you're right. Hoffman has had some moments where initially he was really, really good, and then he starts to fall off as you go along in the season. It had been a perfect opportunity against those inside defensive players for the Denver Broncos. Coaches didn't feel that way. They felt like, well, let's stick with the continuity. Let's go with Hoffman because we've used him the last several weeks. Maybe BB's a little rusty. Maybe we don't want to put him in there and maybe expose something. And that, to me, I never understood. But the thing about it is you've got a couple of corners. And I know getting Butler on, we haven't seen Butler all year. And I can understand a coach saying, well, he hadn't played. He hadn't done anything. He hadn't practiced. We're going to put a guy out there that hadn't done anything? I get that. Carson's kind of the same way with me. Kalen Carson's kind of the same way. I'm kind of wondering now, are we getting to the point where maybe these players, yes, coaches might be worried about them and like, hey, we haven't seen them all year and now we want to put them out there in a game? Or are these players not picking up from classroom to field to potentially playing? I think it's if you're asking me, it's like, listen, I've seen the group playing right now.
Sure.
I think something needs to be done differently.
Because if that's the case, don't nobody on the field know the damn thing.
No.
If that's the case, don't nobody know what to do out there.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing when you deal with and I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm blaming it all on the coaches, but it really is coaches and how they don't feel comfortable playing guys that they haven't seen. And that's the thing. If you look at what Flus and these guys have done, if you look at Flus and his coaches, there hasn't been Kalen Carson out there practicing every day. There hasn't been Josh Butler practicing out there every day. And maybe it's that unknown that they do not want to deal with in this football game. Well, they're getting pretty close right now to you need to know what you have. I think the thing with Winfrey, I think we saw him during training camp. We saw a disruptive player. Why does a disruptive player not get an opportunity to play? That's the biggest question to me. I don't know how you can watch him play throughout training camp against your own offensive line at times and have production and not feel like that he couldn't help you in a game. I don't see that right now.
Yeah, me neither, Brian. It's a weird situation, and I don't want to be so arrogant as to believe that I know more than a coach in the NFL that makes way more money doing this than we do, Brian.
Yeah.
But it just some things just feel like common sense to me. Some things just feel like common sense to me. And if you got guys that are healthy, man, I think this is a perfect time. And I've said this for like 3 weeks now. 3 weeks ago was the perfect time to just start throwing shit against the wall to just see something, just see anything.
Yeah, right.
So if the Cowboys are reserving and keeping the shit in their pockets and not throwing it against the wall, that's kind of concerning.
Can I ask you a real quick question? And it's kind of different than what we've seen or maybe what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the Joneses, because the tone that I've heard from Schottenheimer and Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones this week,
do
you think they're getting to the point in time where Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones are feeling the pressure from our broadcasts or other broadcasts or fan base about this 30-year drought? That now they're starting to realize that this is big.
Yeah.
This is big and it's not acceptable and we need to do something different about it.
I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to be rude and ask you a question that I want you to answer quickly, then I'm going to get into your question.
Sure.
Who do you think is more honest out of the three, Steven, Jerry, or Brian Schottenheimer?
Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer's the most honest?
Yeah.
Cool bit. To answer your question, Brian, you're absolutely right. We know that Jerry gets a social media report.
Yeah.
With all the little stuff that's
the
going
clips,
on.
all that. Yeah, I can confirm that.
We know that they get a social media report. Charlotte get it too, so I assume that they all get it.
They all get it.
Jerry Jr. probably he don't watch it, but he probably get it too. I think they understand where the fan base is with it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that when they look I'm on social media all the time. I'm trying to market all this kind of stuff, and I see people saying, "Yo, look, I'm not going to the game. I'm selling my tickets.
Sure,
I'm not buying jerseys. I'm kind of over this." This what makes it interesting, Brian, is that the times in this organization over the past 30 years when they've been incredibly close. So help me out. That's like 08, 2014, 2016. And this year, I think you have an offense that puts that same kind of feel on you.
Yeah, there was second overall seed, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
And
yeah.
2 years ago was another one.
Right.
2 years ago was another one.
Right.
This year, you have an offense ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous. It's looking like an offense that can compete with anybody. And now they're hearing all us talk about the decision that they made in the offseason that could impact what their defense looks like now.
Right.
Like, hey, y'all, we traded Micah and we thought it was going to be a cool idea. The shit don't look like a great idea.
No, really doesn't.
As much as Jerry and all those, as much as they want credit to be correct about Dak Prescott, we knew Dak Prescott was going to be great. That's why we gave him the most money for a quarterback, and he's playing like the highest paid quarterback right now. As much as they want to be right about that, they have to also come out and be like, hey, man, I ain't going to lie, bro. That dude look great in Green Bay, and I'm kind of sick.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that all the things that I'm seeing him do in Green Bay right now, boy, we could really use some of that.
Oh, you can watch the Arizona tape and see that. Yes. Yeah.
We could really use some of that in Dallas right now, especially the idea that you just got blown out versus the Broncos.
Right.
And it got bad for you versus the Bears. There's some kind of game flow stuff. But most of these games, you are a play away.
Yeah.
And you had a dude that's worth at least 5 plays.
Right.
So now they looking at this and going, all right, bro. Jerry can sit up here and act like, hey, man, we ain't in no rush to pick up the phone.
No.
We waiting on them to call us.
Right.
I call cap on that one, Brian.
I do too.
I think they feel the urgency of the situation.
I totally agree with you.
And they going, all right, bro, Micah's out of here. The most we can do to try to save face is to go, well, yeah, we gave up Micah, but we got an elite guy back and Kenny Clark, and we still got picks or whatever to try to improve the football team. And as long as you win the Super Bowl at the end, nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares. Like what if the trade was equal, who won or not. If you win the Super Bowl, who cares?
Yeah.
But if you're a Dallas Cowboys team that doesn't make the playoffs because your defense is inept,
right.
Now we're looking directly at that situation and we blame it on you.
Yeah, see, to me, this is where I kind of feel like, though, that I'm starting to hear a different tone. Mm-hmm. And I think it used to be that way of like, hey, okay, we're going to do things our way. And I don't think that Jerry and Steven and Will McClay and Shoddy are to the point. I think they're not doing this out of desperation or trying to make something happen. I think they, just like you pointed out, I think they look at their offense and going, damn, what have we done? We moved on from Micah Parsons. What have we done? And we came out here and we told you, oh, no, we feel better about the run defense. They don't feel better about the run defense now. They don't feel better. You can't feel better.
And that argument looks good when teams aren't like throwing against you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now they running against you.
Right. Yeah.
Now they running the football.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is, to me, is that 30 years of not getting it done, and it's a shame it's taken 30 years, but I believe this is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I believe, and Jerry Jones, and this, I don't mean to sound morbid here and all that, he's running out of campaigns. And I mean that in a way that, like, listen, we're only here for so long, and you can't keep doing it a certain way and believing that it's going to work. And I think they're now to the point where they are looking at this, and now all that avalanche that they've heard now for the last couple of years is now starting to really overcome them. Where before they could kind of, no, we're fine, we'll do it this way, everything's cool. I think that we're starting to see a different tone from the Joneses in the front office. Let's see if in fact it does change, but I think there's a different kind of tenor, vibe, whatever you want to call it.
Man, I saw something interesting, Brian. Something I thought was pretty interesting. Watching this Cardinals offense.
Yeah.
When Kyler Murray has a run game to lean on, he's a little different. He can be a little safer. He can take what the defense gives him. Sometimes, when you have a run game that's dominant, and Connor was running the ball, even last year when the scheme was looking good, right? Sometimes the defense will present itself to you because they're thinking about stopping the run, Brian. Not only as Trey Benson and James Conner are injured, the actual talent, but even when they was playing,
right,
the run scheme is a bit off. Now, Brian, it could directly correlate to the idea that the cat that was running a real good run offense last year is over here now, and our run offense is real good.
That's reasonably thought of, yeah.
So now Kyler Murray got to do a little bit more on his own, bro.
Right.
And I think teams that have played Kyler Murray so far have identified that. And I'd be damned, Bryan Broaddus. I didn't think Kyler Murray of a guy that was super cerebral or anything. I didn't think that of him, but just watching this film of this year, I think Kyler Murray has turned into a guy that falls victim of the muddy looks.
Yeah.
I think he's a victim of that. And it's already bad that he's a little bitty. He can't really see over the offensive line.
Right.
I think teams know that he likes to roll out to see better.
Right.
And I think, Brian, that this Cardinals offense kind of cuts the offense in half already. So now you a defense, you can hyper focus on a half, and boy, Brian, I think you can go get them.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Brian. I wanted to say this for the shorts, but I know more people gonna watch this, so I just got to ask, Brian. Kyler Murray got a little foot injury that he's dealing with. They say he's likely to play Monday. I'm kind of cool with that, Brian, because I feel like Jacoby Brissett would have been a little more dangerous versus the Cowboys. Jacoby Brissett, veteran, he's not inept as a passer,
Right.
He ain't going to open it up like some of these other guys. But the Cowboys' defense is so horrible. If you're a decent passer of the football, you could be whooped.
Right.
I think as a passer of the football, Jacoby Brissett got some of the things that Kyler Murray doesn't have.
Right.
Kyler Murray is a better athlete.
Right.
This is Kyler Murray's team. He makes all the money. Kyler got a rocky little arm and stuff like that, Brian, and all that kind of stuff. So Kyler Murray may be a little more dangerous to the average team. But we talking about the Dallas Cowboys defense, Bryan Broaddus. I almost put a little smile on my face when I saw
that he's playing.
That Kyler Murray is that the starter is playing.
Yeah.
Any other time, I'm happy to play a backup.
Sure.
I'm happy to run into Marcus Mariota, Bryan Broaddus.
Right.
But this particular time, I think Jacoby Brissett would have beat the hell out you a little worse than Kyler Murray. What you think about my statement?
Yeah, I don't think that you're wrong about this. I think there's some things, some elements to Kyler Murray's game. The thing that scares me the most and should scare everybody is his ability, the athletic abilities to take off and run. I think that's where he absolutely kills you. But if you get into a game where all of a sudden that it turns into him having to make a bunch of throws, that might be a little bit more of a difficult game for him. And then the fact that no James Conner in this football game, and you watch the way that they run the football or try to run the football, it's very similar to how they've tried to do it before and in the past, is with the pulling. You see uncovered, you see the centers pull, you see the guards pull. Their tight ends will block. I'll tell you where I think Dallas can take a little advantage of them, and I think that they've got an outstanding tight end in Trey McBride.
Trey McBride's really good.
Trey McBride's really good, and I think to your point though, with Brissett being in there, that you kind of see Trey McBride have some success.
Yes, sir.
And you see that Marvin Harrison has some success, and you see that Michael Wilson has some success. You see these guys have success, but with Kyler, it's not always there. And your mention of him having to move around to find space, to find gaps, to find creases, to be able to see to throw the football, I think is a problem. Yeah. But they're trying to run the football very similar with Bam Knight. They're trying to do it the same way that they did it with James Conner. And the thing that kills their running game, and it's the same thing that kills Dallas's running game, is penetration.
Yeah.
When you watch Arizona play, the one thing I'm thinking, okay, how do you stop Kyler Murray? That's going to be, he can stop himself throwing the football. But running the football is a whole different animal for him. You have to worry about that. And Dallas at times has been just wildly undisciplined the way that they play defense.
Yeah.
And especially now a team, we saw Carolina pull linemen. We saw Denver pull linemen. We saw these things turn into bad things for the Cowboys. But the one thing it's very, 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 very similar is the ability to penetrate hurts this offense. And you can watch teams. You watch Green Bay do it. You can watch the Colts do it. Linebackers that attack gaps against Arizona can have some success. But I think that is a different offense, and they move the ball a little bit different with Jacoby Brissett playing quarterback as they do Kyler Murray. And I think you're absolutely right about that assessment.
Boy, Brian, this will be the 1 week the Cardinals run game get it all together. Huh?
Oh, sure it will. Yeah,
Bam Knight and his first step, in which he's kind of different than Connor and Benson. I think Connor and Benson run with a little more ass.
I liked Benson a lot coming out of college.
We're fans of him. Bam Knight even catch a couple passes in the game, and those will turn into some plays or whatever. So all right, cool. But I think if you're gonna get beat, Brian, and boy, it's hard to discern on film, but the Cowboys' defense will make everybody better.
Sure.
I think you'll probably get beat in the air more than likely, but your run defense has been horrible the past few weeks. But I will say to that point though, and I tried to make this point on the break yesterday. I don't know if it came out right. We got to just talk so fast on the break. It's 4 of us, Brian.
Yeah.
But I think the Cardinals and the Denver Broncos, it's in their DNA to be run like power run teams.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily who the Washington football team is. Washington wants to throw the football and run it a little bit to kind of set up the pass. I think the Cardinals I think the Cardinals are closer to what Washington is than what Carolina and Denver is. So I think if it all goes bad, I don't think we're going to see a power run game from Bam Knight and the Cardinals. I think they're going to try to beat us in the air, and Kyler Murray play some hero ball again.
Yeah.
Just looking at these receivers, Brian, Marvin Harrison's very talented, but that don't mean him and Kyler are always on the same page.
Not always.
They're still developing and figuring it out. Zay Jones, old veteran, nobody particularly dangerous.
Yeah.
And Michael Wilson coming out of Stanford, I really liked him in the draft, Brian. Kind of a slot route runny guy. They run some motion with those guys, Brian. They'll motion McBride, Wilson, and Zay Jones. They don't move Marvin a whole bunch.
No.
Marvin is the isolated guy for them. Like kind of how the Cowboys.
Well, kind of like his dad. His dad played on the right side the whole time for the Colts.
His dad
never moved.
Like
never moved.
His dad is just like that. Well, Marvin Jr. does that as well. And
right.
They'll kind of move the other guys around, just kind of go from there. I don't think that this Cardinals passing game is particularly dangerous, but boy, the Washington team with 3 receivers down still found a way to get yards on you sometimes.
Yeah.
I think these dudes are starting football players. Please go ahead.
Let me ask you a question then. Okay, with Harrison, I agree with you about him and about Zay Jones and those guys. Yeah. I think the ball, you got to worry about the jump balls, the balls downfield, the double moves. Yeah. Marvin Harrison, that's the things you're always going to have to worry about. I mean, but you're right. He and Kyler sometimes are not on the same page. You could watch games where clearly there were some routes that he felt like that needed to be going across the field, and all of a sudden, I think it was the Seattle game that I went back and watched that to me that they weren't on the same. You had a couple of interceptions. There were some bad plays, some quitting on some routes. I wanted to ask you this question, Voch. How do you handle Trey McBride at tight end?
I think you have to treat him like a receiver.
Yeah.
Brian, I was watching him, and he's not just it's interesting because with Brissett at quarterback, he got a lot more volume.
Right.
But McBride's not just a check down guy. Like he gets downfield. And
he does. Yeah.
So hell, watching how the Broncos treated Ferguson, I kind of got inspired a little bit. I'll take one.
Scotty Barron played. Yeah.
I'll take one of these corners and look, bro, he's Cowboy corner. So don't let me get.
See, but that's what I'm saying though. Could I offer you
like Bland maybe?
That's what I was going to say. Could I offer you that? Like, listen, I know I can't play Bland. I mean, Bland will play in the slot, but can I offer you Bland in certain down and distances with McBride?
Third down, I think that's a great idea. And
just play everybody else straight up. Third down, take Bland and put him on McBride.
Yeah, Bland's going to be like a nickel guy anyway, so he'll be to the inside. So you just have to bump everybody over one count because they do this whole match thing. And if it's a slot receiver on the same side as McBride, just bring somebody over and just do it like that. I think that's a great idea, Brian, because sometimes they look for they look for him first.
Right.
Sometimes he's the first read, Trey McBride over the middle or something. You know, we don't get I noticed that too. Arizona, they don't throw the ball outside the numbers a whole bunch.
Right.
It's always something in the middle or like crossing routes or something like that. So the Cowboys gonna have to get ready to carry this week, Brian. Some pass rush would help.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, since we talked about it.
This is in your wheelhouse, right? These offensive linemen.
I'm a creature of habit, Brian.
You could talk about offensive linemen all day.
How about this? I'm gonna break down some film on Tuesday's show, Brian. But the right side seemed to be an issue for the most part. I think you can get down on some of the left side guys as well, but I think the right side, I'm looking.
Sure.
If I had better pass rush, I'm looking for those guys.
Right.
I think Jonah Williams has given up most of the ass whoop over there.
Right.
I believe 4.5 sacks from him, and he gives up a ton of pressure. Sometimes too, Kyler Murray will like run around and and get himself in trouble and get himself sacked. But if we just talking about Kyler Murray getting sacked from your offensive line getting whooped,
right,
it's Jonah Williams being terrible, or it's that right side offering gap exchanges.
Yeah.
But Brian, I don't think it mattered this week. I don't think that matters this week. I think that this Cardinals offensive line, they're going to give Kyler Murray a ton of time this week. They're going to give Kyler Murray is going to look more comfortable than he's ever been in the pocket because I don't.
Similar to what you saw with Bo Nix last week? Yeah.
Except for like what, the Jets game or something. Yeah. I don't think this. Let me look around. Brian, if you look at the bottom of your sheet that you gave me, you see that name down there, Jeremiah Byers?
Yeah, Jeremiah. I knew you were going to pick Jeremiah Byers this week.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy is. It says CF25, so that means he's like an undrafted character.
College free agent, yeah.
Got from somebody.
Yeah.
That dude's on the practice squad. If Jonah Williams says, you know what, I'm just going to take the day off and Jeremiah Byers goes and play right tackle, number 67, which is a terrible tackle number, by the way, Jeremiah Byers will lock up everybody on this damn D-line, bro.
I'm going to be positive this week.
I'm not.
I'm going to be positive.
Jeremiah Byers.
I am going to be positive this week.
He beating the shit out of Dante Fowler.
This is the breakout game. This is the breakout game for Donovan Ezukanma. And
that's fair.
This is the game. There's been some games that Donovan Ezukanma has been very close with pressures and stuff like that, and the way that Kyler Murray. I will say this though, there are games where you watch where Kyler Murray will get rid of the ball. I mean, he will take that snap and fire it to the outside. You know, now maybe it's going to be a situation where, like Voch is talking about, your pass rush has been just non-existent. But teams that he's played against, like a Seattle that has a legitimate pass rush, he's getting the ball out quick. He's like taking it and just firing it to the outside. And that might just totally neutralize anything. But this is the game. This is the game that I kind of feel like that if you look at Donovan Ezukanma, if you can match him up against Jonah Williams, I think this is where it's at. I just that to me, because I was sitting there watching Jonah Williams, anybody that he's had to deal with, and listen, Micah Parsons made him quit. Micah Parsons made him quit in that game that they played here recently, and it's Micah Parsons. I get it, folks, but Donovan Ezukanma, he has that first step quickness. He has that ability to explode. We're starting to see it a little bit more. This could be a game where he, against Jonah Williams, could get a couple of sacks. I'm going to be positive about that. We're going to see him have a game. And hopefully whoever lines up over there, because I don't think the Arizona tight ends block particularly well, run game or pass game. So all of a sudden, if you're asking them to have to help, this could be a little bit of a problem. They could get in the way of Jonah Williams and now create where now he's trying to fight not only the tight end helping him, but the guy he's going against. Just going on record here. I think this is going to be a big game for Donovan Ezukanma when it comes to going up against Jonah Williams. Breakout game for him this week.
Brian, knowing Flus.
Yeah. You're playing the odds of what's happened the last 8 weeks.
Flus gonna put Donovan Ezukanma over Paris Campbell all day.
And Paris is going to have success. And Paris isn't much better.
Paris Johnson. Look, and look, I think he can beat Paris Johnson. I think he can get some.
I do.
But the clear path to victory is on
the other side. Yeah,
Jonah's much worse.
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus going to find a reason to not put his best.
He's going to put his best pass rusher on one of their better blockers.
That's exactly because I've seen him do it.
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair.
There's evidence. Video proof.
No. Your assessment, I think, is absolutely right. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this is the week you get a home game that somebody on this defense, somebody like a Donovan Ezukanma or James Houston or somebody comes up with some legitimate sack pressure. You know, I want to believe.
I got to see it.
I know.
Me too.
I know. We all want to believe. We all want to believe that that's the case. And you know, what did it take? What did it take for the Commanders game? Did it take Shoddy having to walk in there and say, do this more? I don't know. I mean, whatever it has to do for somebody to walk in there and say, this is their worst blocker. Attack him and go after him, much like they were attacking your corner, like Denver was attacking your corner last week. They knew when Weezy's in there playing, they knew where to go.
Luce ain't got that in him, Brian.
Please do this for us. Please do this for us. Just for one time, I'd love for you to break down film on a Tuesday, post game, and be able to say, hey, guys, look what happened in this matchup this week. I'd love to be able, I see what you're doing with your glasses right now. You're giving me that. We need to get the Phil Collins picture back.
Wait till I get Phil Collins up in here.
Yeah, we need Phil Collins to make. Phil needs to make an appearance.
Brian, let me ask you a question, man. Since the Cowboys want to hold out healthy characters that can play, do you think this is a week where we?
That's surprising to me. Gosh,
it sucks, Brian, but it's okay. We'll call some people and figure it out. Do you think this is a week where we get Sanborn back?
Yeah, see, now this is the thing when you start to deal with concussions, nobody wants to talk about concussions. That's the thing. So hopeful, you're hopeful that you can get him back. The metrics will tell you, maybe the film doesn't always tell you. The film tells you probably don't play the guy in coverage.
Yeah.
Film will tell you though that the metrics will tell you when he's on the field, it's 3.9 yards a carry. He's the only one. He's the only defender. I think it's 114 run snaps, 20 tackles, two tackles for loss, or they call them stuffs. He's the only Cowboy defender that when he's on the field, they get less than 4 yards a carry. Everybody else, even Kenny Clark's at 4.5. You guys, the ones that the guys like Shamar James, 6.1 when he's on the field. So there's been some, there's been some things. You love having James on the field and you love him running after the ball and all that, but is there some liabilities there? Right now there appears to be in the running game, but he can still make some plays, that sideline to sideline stuff. But if you look at Jack Sanborn, you might have missed him in some of these games where it's been like the Carolina game where it was just pretty basic how they ran the football. And him kind of knifing through. I think if you get a guy, as I mentioned, against Arizona, penetration will hurt their run game because it's very similar to how Dallas runs the ball with the pullers. That was something. Maybe you get Sanborn on some run throughs. Maybe you get James on some run throughs. That's going to be something I think they're going to need this week.
Well, I'm gonna drop a film on Donovan Ezukanma pressure since they're making me feel a little bit up. Maybe I'll watch some Sanborn film and campaign to get him back on the field. We'll see. Thank you very much, broadcast partner.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Fantastic. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Be sure to come back tomorrow. We're gonna break down the Cardinals defense and how they're gonna handle the Cowboys offense. So appreciate y'all. Be sure to tap in with our merch. The link is in the description. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. It's getting cold outside, man. So be sure to get y'all like a hoodie, little quarter zip, something like that. We are working on beanies and everything, so please support us. We appreciate everything that y'all do. Go to our website, Crown Global Media, and you can find everything over there. You can find the audio version. You can find past episodes. You can tap in with what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. It's all there in one spot for you. Appreciate y'all. That's Bryan Broaddus. I'm VOCHLOMBARDI. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.